Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel if you're a subscriber, or if you're new here, welcome. Today I have the Wet n Wild One Step Wonder Gel system. Well, I guess it's not really a system since there's only one step. But I got this little gift set at Walgreens. I went shopping there on Black Friday and they had 50% off. So instead of getting it for $10, I got it for $5, which I think is an amazing deal. I don't know if it's still $5, but even for $10, it's still a pretty good price because just one of these is $4.99. So basically you're paying for 4 polishes for the price of one, which is awesome. The only downside is you can't really pick which color you want, but the colors that I got that come in it are Crime of Passion, which is the red, Under My Plum, which is this purple, Stay Classy, which looks like a pinky nude, and All That Jazzy, which is gold. And for my demonstration I'm going to use Under My Plum. So, One Step Wonder Gel looks like this, and the color is based on the labels or on the top, and so you can't really see the colors unless you open the bottle, but I say they're pretty accurate. So I've watched a couple of videos on this, and the claim of course is that it has shine and wear time for 14 days. I don't believe that for 1 second because there's no base coat or top coat with this. Based on all the videos that I've already watched on this, nobody really made it past 4 to 7 days if they were lucky. So for my experiment, what I'm going to do is with my right hand, I'm going to do a base coat, color, and top coat since I use this hand more often, so it's probably going to chip the quickest. And then for my left hand, I'm just going to do straight 2 coats of this and see how long that lasts. Alright, so I've got my base coat drying on this hand, so while that's drying I'm going to go ahead and put a dehydrator on, just since I have probably a little bit of oil residue left over from when I was hydrating my nails, and then I'm just going to put it on as it is supposed to be put on. And the dehydrator I use is EverGlaze Prep. Alright, applying the first coat, no base coat, nothing except my bare nail. The brush is just like any other Megalast brush from Wet n Wild. Going to hope for the best that this does not stain since I'm not using a base coat. Formula's pretty good, it's not super runny or anything. Applies really nicely. Alright, so here is one coat of Under My Plum. Very easy formula, didn't have any issues with it. It looks like I might not hardly have to clean up my nails except for a few little jagged edges, but overall it's looking pretty good. And this is on the hand without base coat. It's pretty shiny, but as it's drying I can see it kind of like drying to a little satiny finish. Alright, so I just finished my other hand. This one looks like it's pretty much almost dry, so I'm going to go ahead and put on the second coat. Yeah, that's dry. And I gotta say, these dry pretty fast. My hands were dry to the touch after I finished putting the polish on my right hand, so I didn't time myself, so I'm guessing 3 to 5 minutes. But I'll probably wait about half an hour before I do anything with my hands just to make sure it's completely dry and I don't dent them and just go ahead and ruin everything. So we shall see. So here is the hand with no base or top coat. And here's the hand with base coat. I'm going to let it dry before I put on the top coat. I need to do a little cleanup. And then I'll be back to put on the top coat, and then I will follow up the end of the video, or I'll follow up continuing the video based on how many days of wear I get it. If it starts chipping severely, like if there's just 1 or 2 chips, I'll keep wearing it just to keep going. If it starts chipping to the point where I can't stand it, then I will update on that day and then remove it. Okay, so once again, here is the hand with nothing but the color on it, the way it's meant to be applied. There's a little light scuffing after it's dried. I haven't done anything. It's been like half an hour and it's dry. Light bubbling, nothing too dramatic, but that's kind of a disappointment. The same thing happened with my Revlon Color Stay Gel Envy. I'll put the video to that will be up here. But I did like the wear time of that one. That one actually lasted through house cleaning, which was pretty impressive. I don't know how this one's gonna last, but here is the one with top coat, which looks more gel-like to me, just because it's shining a little bit more. It kind of dulls after it dries on its own, but here's no top coat and top coat. And I had a hard time painting these fingers. Cleanup took forever just because I have so many cuts and nicks on this hand, so it did stain my cuticles, which I'm kind of disappointed about, but that's kind of my fault for painting so messily. But I'm hoping it's not gonna stain my nails. This hand not so much, just because it has a base coat on it, but hopefully this one will be okay. So I will update as time goes on and hope that within the first day it doesn't mess up. But like I said, even if they don't work on their own, they probably will work with a base coat and top coat. So we shall see.
So today is day 3 that I've had the One Step Wonder gel on, and so far it's actually holding up pretty well, especially for a polish that doesn't have base coat or top coat with it. This is just the polish alone. My other hand is the one that has the base coat and top coat applied to it. There hasn't been very many chips. There was obviously some tip wear on day 2, which was but so far for the durability, it's been pretty well. I've been showering and washing dishes and a bunch of other things, and it's actually held up pretty well, so I'm pretty impressed by that. There's only this little chip right here, which isn't bad enough for me to want to take the whole thing off just yet. If it gets any worse than that, I probably will though. And ended up with like wrinkles, and I don't know how, but and my thumb kind of peeled off, but that was my fault, so I'm not counting that as the polish's fault. But this one's held up pretty well too. Still a little bit of tip wear, but other than that, it's doing well so far. But as you can see, the shine, I mean, that kind of went out the door like an hour after I applied it, so it's definitely not as shiny as it says it should be. Alright, so quick update. It is now day 6. They still honestly look pretty decent. I mean, there's tip wear and there's some mild chipping, but I honestly had low expectations for this and did not expect it to last this long without just completely looking awful. But I have been applying cuticle oil pretty regularly, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I was just keeping my cuticles moisturized so they wouldn't get all dry with the cold. But this hand is actually holding up pretty well for it'll be a week tomorrow, so the only chipping, I mean, there's a lot of tip wear, and these two, this nail broke and then I trimmed this one down, so I tried to make them all kind of equal. I really want to take it off because I'm getting so bored of the color, but keeping it on for the wear test. And then my other hand, which has the base coat and top coat on it, again, this was my fault, not the polishes, that's also holding up. I really don't expect it to last 14 days like it says it will, because I'm pretty sure the tip wear is just going to gradually get worse and worse, and any chips are just going to break off even more. So I'm going to say it's definitely not going to last 14 days, but after almost 7, this is pretty decent. it's any worse than this, I'm definitely gonna take it off because I don't want to wear this color anymore.
Okay, so I am definitely going to take them off today. It's day 7, so these lasted roughly a week, and they're just at the point where it just needs to be taken off. So I'm going to remove it today, so I'm going to say this polish lasts maybe 5 to 7 days, depending on how often you use your hands. I'm gonna say it probably would last 14 days if you never did anything with your hands. I don't understand why these polish companies don't make realistic expectations. Like, why not just say last a week or last maybe 10 days? Like, why does it have to be 14? Like, no polish other than a true gel polish is going to last 14 days. So that was my wear test for the Wet n Wild One Step Wonder Gel. It lasted roughly a week for me. And then that hand was with just the polish, and this is with top coat and base coat. It'll probably last longer if you actually use a base coat and top coat, which defeats the purpose of the polish, but it is what it is. Alright, thanks so much for watching!